Oh yeah, this is a good look for me, I think. Oh hey, welcome to the channel. It's Labor Day weekend. I'm enjoying my holiday by, well, doing honeydews. Let's have you turn around and look at that. This would be a Samsung clothes dryer. A couple years oldish, maybe more than that. Time flies, you know. Anyway, issue reported, observed. When you turn it on to dry it, it suddenly just still works, still dries clothes, no problems there. But you know, usually it's sitting over there with the vent plug and all that. It's fancy. It's got the steam thing with the water line, the dryer with the water line. Who'd have thunk that would ever happen? Anyway, little tips and tricks on how to troubleshoot, because the vibration seems to be tied to the revolution speed, because when you turn it off and it's winding down, the vibration slows down. So what this tells me is the motor either is out of balance for some reason, which is probably unlikely, especially on a clothes dryer, and here's why. All that lint that gets, you know, sucked through the lint filter, and the lint filter never fits exactly perfect, and so a lot of it ends up going by, especially for those of you that don't clean your lint filter every time. What are you doing? It's just part of the process. Anyway, side rant over. That lint gets in there, and of course, while there's a lot of moisture in the air that's being drawn out, because it is a dryer, you're drawing out moisture after all, right? You got a lot of wet air and lint that's being basically sucked through the dryer by a kind of a squirrel cage blower, and then blown out the dryer vent. So the blower motor is kind of in the middle, in between the clothes basket or drum or whatever you want to call it. The hot air is being pulled through the drum, so it's basically vacuuming air through the drum, but then you hit the blower and then it's forcing air under pressure to blow out the back vent. And you know, however you're set up, this is a basement laundry, so you know, it blows up and out to the backyard. So pay no attention to, you know, all the dirtiness in here. I'll try to get some light for you. Now I've already got this primed, so that's a red light. How about that light? I've already got this primed up to make it easy for you to see how to do this. So basically, Linda, if you got a vibrating dryer, I don't have any footage of it doing that because I didn't think to grab the camera, but it's just it's vibrating. Your dryer shouldn't vibrate, okay? I mean, normal clunkety from whatever shoes or whatever ridiculous wrench you left in your pocket. That's not what we're talking about. So, all right, let me find you a place to sit, and then we'll go through how to pop this thing apart to get to the parts that you need to get to. Okay? Hang on. Or we'll just wait right there. It's magic. Okay. So, almost every dryer that I've ever run across goes together the same way. In fact, you may have noticed these tabs right here. Those are actually alignment tabs so that the guy in the factory can line up the lid, and then the lid doesn't do a whole lot of structural anything. It's just here to look fancy, in this case especially front loading dryer. So what you do is you pop open the front door and jam your knee in there, or get your foot or something to hold the front of the dryer down, and then you get a grip wherever you can on the top of this, and you just pop it up. And of course I don't have it locked down right now, but it just has metal clips. So whenever you're putting it back together, you line it up on those two alignment tabs, bang. But anyway, we're taking it apart right now. So you pull up on it, and then it just hinges up like the hood of your car. And then what I like to do, let me show you again. Get over here. You can see, if you can see, hold on. Lighting. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit of slack in that cable right there. Because this is all your control panel and stuff is up there, but there's just like one big bundle of wires here. And now you can see we're pivoting in those alignment tabs. And otherwise, you know, that's all that it's attached to. And then it's got these little, well in this case they're plastic, they're not even metal clips. That just kind of pops down into those holes and holds it on. And that's all you need it to do. Like I said, it's not structurally relevant to the integrity of the machine. Sorry about that light in your eyes. Anyway, after we get the lid off, so once we pop the lid loose, you just slide it back towards you. Comes right out of those alignment tabs. And then, you know, bearing in mind the limitations of physics and the length of that cabling, just kind of take it and turn it sideways, get it out of the way. And then you can even see the alignment tabs to make it easy on the guy putting this front end. So what you got in here, you got your dryer drum, and it's belt driven, but you can't see right there unless I do that. See that belt back there? That's running around the drum and around the pulley. But that's what turns it, is that belt. This one's got sound deadening even on the drum. It's nice. Paid way too much. Anyway, so there's 3 screws, just regular Phillips head screws across the top here. And then on each side they put a screw with a Phillips head down into the tightest place that you can imagine. And so I ended up, you know, monkeying with it like 3 clicks on the ratchet at a time until I got it loose enough to put a Phillips screwdriver in there on an improper angle. But yeah, that's the biggest pain in the butt. Alright, so this next part, it's a lot easier to do with 2 hands, but I want you to be able to see it, and there's no light over here. I'm in the corner of the laundry room, for crying out loud. So once I got those 3 screws out of the top and the 2 screws that are coming from the cabinet frame into the front, then additionally there was a screw here and 2 screws down here. All Phillips, nothing tricky. Regular Phillips screwdriver does the trick. So then you pop this front over that alignment tab on each side, and then there's a plug for your light, if your model has a light there. You know, and for just universal purposes, if there's any wiring, unplug it. And then lift, and poof. The entire front of the dryer came off, just like that. So now, what we got, oh, my knees. Okay, so next we had 3 screws holding in this lint filter, And then there's also a screw around on the inside. But if you feel around, and that's just on this one. I mean, every dryer has a different design. So we'll pull out our lint filter, get that out of the way, and then this box right here. See how it's kind of going male into female with this piece. Obviously, I've already went through and got all the screws out. So then there was 1, 2, 3 screws holding this piece on. Ew, gross. That's gonna get a good cleaning out. And then the cover over the squirrel cage here, floor housing. It tabs at the bottom and has a screw in 2 different places, here and here. Corresponds to here and here. And now that we got that out, you can see all of that dryer lint that got into here and just ended up caked on this thing. So we're going to get in here with the shop vac and maybe an old toothbrush or something and get that all cleaned out. And I bet you, I've already pulled a bunch out of here. And I'm pretty sure that that's where our out of balance issue is coming from. Because this and the drum are spun by the same motor. In fact, as I spin this, the drum is turning. So, that's the only motor there is that operates this dryer. I probably should spin that back. I have a screw in there somewhere. Don't want to lose. Okay. Anyway, like I said, and if you needed to change this, you could pull that bolt. That would be a pain in the butt. It does have a flat on it. Anyway, for what we're doing today, I think our main problem was just out of balance on this, because this is a fairly high RPM contraption. Like I said, it has to suck air through from the drum, and actually, I don't know if you can see them in there. There's the heating elements. It actually draws air from inside the cabinet across the heating elements, and then it's piped to there. And this motor is basically suctioning all the way through the drum, through there, to here, and it's actually drawing air in from the back of the unit on louvered vents back there. But then once it's here, now instead of being a suction like on this side, it's pressure blowing basically straight over here, and it's a straight shot out the back to where it goes out of the house. Anyway, if you're pondering around with the idea of pulling apart your dryer and you're kind of intimidated by it, which I was there, I've been there, done that. Yeah. Hopefully this helps you out. So this is a Samsung model. I've pulled apart Frigidairs that are basically the same. Just take your time. You know, look at it, try to figure out, you know, don't force anything. Be gentle. Be gentle. Take it slow. Alright. That's all I got for you right now. Hope you're having a fantastic Labor Day weekend. I want to get this thing cleaned out, back together, shoved back in the corner, and I think I'm going to be done with my honeydews, and then I might go drive a car I haven't driven in a while. See you soon. Have a great one. Okay, fellas, we got it all cleaned out. We're putting it back together. It's fairly uneventful. It's going back together the same way it came apart. Put that cover back over the squirrel cage. Took the 2 screws and the tab. And then we got 3 screws going on to this piece. But because it's interfacing with this piece, I just sort of left them loose to start with. But then as I'm putting this screw in, I thought, this is a good tip you might want to know. when you're screwing a sheet metal type screw into plastic, especially plastic of unknown age, over time it gets a little brittle. You don't want to be, even though, I mean, this screw is designed to cut its own threads, and originally at the factory that's what it did. But if we keep forcing it into old brittle plastic and cutting new threads, it's going to at some point give you a little heartbreak and agony. So what I like to do is get it in there and just with slight pressure, you know, pushing inward just to hold it in place. You rotate it backwards. See there, I just clicked. Let's try that again. You spin it backwards. It's just slight forward pressure. And then when you find the old threads that it already cut, it'll sort of click in this place. Like that. And then you just screw it in, and you're using the same threads that that screw had already used. So, a little pro tip to help keep you from shattering your plastic as you're putting things back together. Yeah. Other than that, we're just going to put it together the same way we took it apart. Once I get this lint screen assembly back together, the front door will go back on. It'll drop into these tabs right here, and then rotate forward onto the alignment clips, and then the 3 screws across the top, 1, 2, 3 screws in the front around the door, and then those 2 really annoying ones that come through these plastic grommets right here. Or, I mean, do you really need those screws in there? Excuse me. We'll see.